Namaskar and welcome to Parliament News. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh. First up, news from Lok Sabha. The Lok Sabha failed to transact any legislative business for the second day today, with the opposition stalling proceedings amid an overhike in the prices of petroleum products. Today is the second day of the second phase of budget session, after two adjournments due to disruptions caused by opposition members, mainly from the Congress, who were protesting against the rise in fuel prices. The House was adjourned for the day a little after 2 p.m. During question hour at around 11 a.m., Speaker Om Birla had to adjourn the House till 12 noon, following protest over the rising fuel prices. During the question hour, opposition members, mainly from the Congress, entered the well of the House and started raising slogans. Proceedings were adjourned for the second time till 2 p.m. over the same issue. When the House reassembled at noon, various papers and reports were laid amid continued protest. Several Congress members were in the well, demanding a rollback of the fuel price hikes. DMK members were seen standing at their seats, while Trinamool Congress members did not protest. As the protest continued, Meenakshi Lekhi, who was in the chair, adjourned the proceedings till 2 p.m. When the House reconvened at 2 p.m., several opposition members raised the same issue. As the noisy protest continued, Rajendra Agarwal, who was chairing the proceedings, adjourned the proceedings for the day. Attacking Rahul Gandhi over his comments on creating a separate ministry for fisheries, Minister of Animal Husbandry, Dairy, Fisheries, Giriraj Singh said that Congress leader should be sent to school so that he knows what ministries and departments exist under the central government. Hitting out at the opposition, especially the Congress, Giriraj Singh said, from 1947 to 2014, those who ruled for generations after generation gave only 3,682 crore rupees through central allocation for fisheries, whereas the Modi government has invested 32,000 crore rupees since 2014. The minister said that he has been hurt because of the comments by Rahul Gandhi. On 2nd of February, Union Minister Giriraj Singh said in the House, Rahul Gandhi had an unstart questions about the ministry, but after going to Puducherry and Kochi, he said there is no fisheries department, and if the Congress comes to power, the centre will have a separate ministry for fisheries. Last month, Rahul Gandhi had talked about the need for a separate fisheries ministry. And now, news from Rajya Sabha. The Rajya Sabha failed to transact any business for the second day today after opposition members led by the Congress created uproar over rising prices of petroleum products. The House was adjourned twice in the pre-lunch period, first around 11:20 a.m. and then a few minutes after noon. When the House met at 2 p.m., Deputy Chairman Harivansh urged the protesting members to follow the proceedings to continue, but the unrelenting opposition members trooped into the well and raised slogans, forcing its adjournment finally for the day. Today was the first time after almost a year that the House resumed its normal timings from 11 a.m. The House was functioning from 9 a.m. till 2 p.m. during the first part of the current session due to COVID-19 restrictions. All the members were now seated in Rajya Sabha chamber and galleries, with the Deputy Chairman announcing that 142 seats have been made available for members in Rajya Sabha chamber and the remaining will be seated in 4 galleries. Earlier, members also sat in Lok Sabha chamber due to strict social distancing norms. Deputy Chairman said 4 notices under Rule 267 for suspension of rules and taking up discussion on issue of increase in prices of petrol and diesel in the country have been received from Leader of Opposition Mallikarjun Kharge, Satish Chandra Misra of BSP, Tiruchi Seva of DMK, Priyanka Chaturvedi of Shiv Sena. He said since the chairman has disallowed a similar notice on Monday, his ruling cannot be reopened. This led to uproar with the opposition members trooping into the well, raising slogans. The House could not transact any business and only 2 questions could be taken up, but the replies remained inaudible in the din. The situation was the same when the House reassembled at 2 p.m. as the opposition members continued to demand discussion on rise in fuel prices. Deputy Chairman appealed to the protesting members, including those in the well, to return to their seats. He said Arbitration and Conciliation Amendment Bill 2021 should be taken up as it sought to replace the ordinance, but the unrelenting opposition members continued with their protests. Law Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad also insisted on taking up the bill, saying its passage is essential. Deputy Chairman called Vivek Tankha of the Congress to speak on the bill. Vivek Tanka said, how can he speak when the leader of opposition was standing? Mallikarjun Kharge said he was not questioning the chairman's decision on Monday, but urged the chair to consider fresh notices for a discussion on fuel prices given today. He also demanded that the rates be brought back to the 2013-14 levels. Congress leader said, entire country is suffering due to the price hike of petroleum products and essential commodities, and urged the chair to allow a discussion. Deputy Chairman Harivansh said he cannot reopen it since the chairman has already disallowed the notice. He then asked Manoj Jha of the RJD to speak on the bill, who said the House was not in order. Congress Deputy Leader Anand Sharma said, according to the tradition of the House, no government bill is taken up amid the din. He insisted that opposition has the right to take up the issue. He said it is unfortunate that norms are being violated repeatedly by the government. He said government should not try to introduce new business without settling the question raised by the opposition. Amid the uproar, Deputy Chairman adjourned the House for the day. Earlier, Congress members, joined by other opposition parties, trooped to the well and persisted with their demand for a discussion, even after the chairman disallowing the notice by Mallikarjun Kharge. When the House met at noon, Deputy Chairman urged the protesting members to take their seats and allow the question hour to go on. The opposition members, however, continued to protest and raise slogans against the government. Deputy Chairman continued with the question hour, but adjourned the House till 2 p.m. after the protesting members raised their pitch. Soon after the tabling of papers and committee reports in the morning, members belonging to the Congress, DMK, left parties, BSP and Shiv Sena were on their feet, seeking the suspension of the business to take up discussion on the fuel price hikes. Bhupender Yadav of the BJP countered the opposition, saying that the ruling of the chairman is final and notices cannot be reopened. With that, we conclude Parliament News. Namaskar.
As the day unfolds,